Hello, everyone, and welcome to the April 12th slash April 13th, 2016, episode number 61 of Balls Deep Sports Talk. I am your host with the one and only Scotty Ball, joining you this week as I somehow find a way and manage to do each and every week, whether it be on SoundCloud, YouTube, or my personal favorite, the Spreaker app, and soon to be glradio.net. Thanks as always for finding your way to the show. Now we have a very unique and we'll just stay with unique show for you this week. As of yesterday, there was going to be no show this week, but because I am so dedicated and I love doing this, and I don't want to let you guys, my loyal listeners, down either. I somehow worked away here late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, found a way to record a little bit of a show here this week. So what we're going to do is we are going to keep this show. This show has a 60-minute cap on it, and we're going to try and keep it even less than that. If we can get this done in 30 minutes, that's going to be fantastic. So we're not going to go nowhere near as deep as we usually do. I know, but hey, it was either quickies or nothing at all. So you gotta go with quantity there, right? But anyway, like I said, we are on a major time crunch here this week, so we're going to be just ripping through shit. It's going to be more of a news, my bad, going to be more of a news episode with just a little bit of takes mixed in. And we've already got the shameless plugs out of the way for the most part, other than to connect with me on social media by liking and friending me on Facebook, by searching Scotty-Ball, and follow the show on Twitter at BDST Show. Alright, there we go, got that checked off the list. Let's dive right into our small, quick little overview of what's going to be talked about here on this 60-minute or less quickie edition of Balls Deep Sports Talk. So, here are the several things that went down in the sports world since the last time we talked sports, or the handful of things that we've got coming up here between now and the next time that we talk sports. Now, as I'm sure you can quite often if you're a regular listener, I'm sure you'll be able to guess a few of, if not most of, or even all maybe this week, of our topics. Of course, if you know me, we will be talking PGA Tour, what went down at the Masters this past week, especially this past Sunday. My number one pick did not fare well at all. I picked Adam Scott. I want to say he tied for 42nd. But at least he made the cut. So it could have been worse. But Sunday was epic. It will be remembered for a long time, and not for the right reasons, but for an epic meltdown on the part of one defending champion seeking to be a back-to-back wire-to-wire winner of the tournament, one Mr. Jordan Spieth. So we will discuss what went wrong for him on Sunday that cost him the opportunity to go back-to-back in winning the Masters tournament. And we will, of course, discuss the winner as well, who most people had never heard of before this week. And in fact, I missed on him. I didn't have him in my preview last week, so I do apologize for that. But in my defense, his name was supposed to be Vaughn Taylor. I knew there was a guy that was going to have a strong showing and was fairly unknown. I thought his name was Vaughn Taylor. I mispronounced it. It's Danny Willett. Honest grammatical mistake. So I understand and apologize for the confusion there. Let's see. All right. But so yeah, we'll definitely be talking Masters, PGA golf tournament from last weekend. We'll also be discussing Major League Baseball as we are over a week into the season now, and possibly, hopefully not, your Minnesota Twins are still looking for their first win of the season as I am recording this episode. That is right, the Minnesota Twins are 0-7, a franchise worst start, and I heard Paul Allen on KFAN radio, which I listened to just about every day this morning, say how no 0-7 team in Major League Baseball has ever made the playoffs, which is ridiculous considering that it is 3% of the season. And that is, of course, many decades worth of playoff baseball where there were no wild card teams. It was just pennant winners. So the numbers are skewed a little bit and possibly more misleading than they might suggest. But nonetheless, it's a terrible start for the Minnesota Twins this year, as bad as it could be just about. So we will look in there, discuss everything that is going wrong, what, if anything, is going right, and what they can and hopefully will do to right the ship in the near future. But so we'll talk Twins baseball, and we'll probably take just a quick, brief glance around the league and see kind of what's just happening in general as well. We'll also talk NHL hockey as the playoffs are soon upon us here in just a couple days. The regular season is over. The playoff matchups are determined. My and possibly your Minnesota Wild as the final playoff berth wild card spot in the Western Conference will take on the number one seed Dallas Stars. Wild versus Stars. You gotta love that from a nostalgia standpoint, if nothing else. If you are a Minnesota hockey fan, kind of a win-win, I guess, where, if you gotta lose, hey, this is the team you kind of, you want to cheer for if you can't cheer for the Wild. So, I guess we got that going for us, but we'll definitely take a look not only at the Wild, but and they've got some issues, injuries and other things. But we'll take a look at the playoff picture in the NHL and give you my official picks for the NHL playoffs. We'll also discuss what happened in the world of college hockey as the NCAA Division I men's hockey champion was crowned this past weekend in the Final Four. I was able to watch the third period, which was fantastic to watch, of the UND Denver semifinal game when that was on last week. That was the only of the 3 Frozen Four games I was able to watch. But I do know what happened in all of them because of this wonderful thing called the intranet or something along those lines. So I'll share that information with you. We'll also be discussing some NBA basketball. T-Wolves had a 3-game win streak since the last time we talked. We'll check in on how they're finishing out their season and what we think they need to do going into next year just a little bit. We'll also take a look around the league. Big news with the Golden State Warriors on the positive side, bad news on the Spurs side, and of course the Kobe Bryant Happy Mamba Day. By the way, you're probably listening to this on Wednesday, April 13th, which is, according to Nike, who now suddenly has the power to proclaim national and international holidays. It is Mamba Day or Black Mamba Day. I think it's just Mamba Day, though, for the last game of one Kobe Bryant, who has had the most unique, borderline disgusting and disgraceful butt-kissing parade farewell tour for an athlete that I have ever seen in my life. So we'll talk just a bit about that. We'll take a look at the playoff picture, see if we can't get enough to form some predictions going into when the playoffs start. We'll possibly talk a tiny bit of NBA draft news, possibly talk a tiny bit of NFL news regarding the draft as well. But that is that is one of the first ups on the chopping block. Don't know if we'll get to any WWE. Not really a whole lot to discuss right now, in my opinion. It's really kind of a boring lull period in WWE. Not a whole lot of UFC news to discuss this week either. We will have a boxing quickie to throw in, as there was a title fight this past weekend involving one Manny Pacquiao. That's right, the guy who couldn't beat or even entertain us while losing to Floyd Money Mayweather not too long ago. He had a big title fight, or at least big in the world of boxing, apparently, and so I will share with you the results of that. And that is pretty much what we've got planned to cram into this, like I said, 60-minute or less quickie edition of Balls Deep Sports Talk this week. But like I said, better something small than nothing at all. That's, I say that all the time. I've been saying that for years, so why not apply it to the show? All right. Well, let's get underway. Let's pick a topic to open this show with. That's right. It's time for our opening topic. What do we call that? Ladies and gentlemen, say it with me. Balls on fire. What's got me, yours truly, Scotty Ball, the most on fire, the most fired up, the most heated up in the world of sports this week. And, thinking about what we talked about in the overview of topics here on the show tonight, almost all of them. There are at least a couple that, I'm fired up. I mean, obviously the Masters and Twins baseball and Wild playoffs and UND championship and the Warriors 72 wins, Kobe's farewell. Like, there's plenty that I'm, fairly fired up about one way or the other. But we got to pick one, and I think it's, it should be a no-brainer. I am most fired up about the stinking Twins stinking and being 0-7 to start this year. Man, I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world, but I am a baseball fan, but I feel really, really terrible for all of the, baseball's my favorite sport baseball fans who look forward to this through the dreary months of winter for this. Jeez Louise, it is ugly, folks. It's ugly. Granted, it could be uglier. It's not like we're losing, 10-1 every day, but boy, we have no bats. Nobody on this team can hit, and that was supposed to be like our strength. We don't know how the pitching's going to be, and the defense might be up and down, but boy, they should be able to hit. That's what everybody thought looking on paper, but boy, that has not been the case. Buxton can't hit the ball. Bunghole Park, that's right, our new DH. We're officially trademarking him, tagging him, labeling him, nicknaming him Bunghole Park. He is the king of the strikeout. Before the other day, he had struck out 12 of 19 at bats. Like, over 50% of his at bats are strikeouts. That's horrible. And the whole team ain't doing much better. Buxton can't hit the ball. Sano's whiffing horribly. When we can get some hits and get some runners on base, we can't knock them in. There are a few bright spots. Like I said, we have been able to get on base from time to time, just not capitalizing on them. That can change. That can improve. The drawing better quality at bats and getting productive outs. Like, the Twins can't even get productive outs. And that's where, like, I think in the old, in the past of Twins small ball, we'd at least have 2-3 wins right now. One, at least, you would think. But the Twins can't even play small ball right now, and they don't have the firepower anywhere on offense at the moment to be playing anything else and expecting to compete even remotely. Now, another semi-bright spot, at least in my opinion, would be the pitching staff. The pitchers, primarily the starting pitching. Granted, none of it's been great. None of it's went out there and, shut the other team down and won us a game. But for the most part, it's all been winnable pitching, where if this pitching was going out there for the Toronto Blue Jays, they'd be getting the W. No big deal. They'd be comfortably getting W's. But they're not. They're not getting hardly any run support, and so we're losing a lot of 4-1, 4-2 type of games, somewhere in there. Now, one surprising thing is that Ricky Nolasco has actually come out, and he pitched well in his one game so far that he pitched. Let's not hold our breaths and expect that streak to continue, but that would be a wonderful blessing for the Twins if he could put, a month or two here in April and May's worth of quality performances. He doesn't even need to be getting wins, just, quality outings on the mound. and suddenly he could have trade value where we could move him, get a prospect, give him $5 million to help, with the ridiculous amount of money that we signed him to. But it would, man, that's one of that's one of the positives that we got going for us right now here at the Twins.